I'm a 34-year-old woman, married to my husband Jason, who's 36. We've been together for nearly a decade and decided early that we didn't want kids. We both have demanding jobs, we love to travel, and we like the kind of quiet weekends that don't involve diaper bags or babysitters. It's a decision that made sense for us, but to my mother, Linda, it might as well have been a personal attack. Ever since our wedding, she's treated the idea of grandchildren as her next big life goal. The first time she joked about saving all her baby blankets for the real purpose, I laughed it off. But it stopped being a joke after the 10th you'll regret waiting conversation. At first, Jason tried to smooth things over, saying maybe she just needed time to adjust. Time didn't help. When I finally told her directly that we weren't planning to have kids at all, she froze like I'd confessed a crime. She cried for days, telling my father Mark that she felt robbed of her purpose. My dad quietly told me he understood our choice but didn't want to argue with her. He's always been the kind of man who avoids conflict until it burns a hole through the wall. The next family dinner after that was awkward. My younger sister Emma, 3 years younger, always eager to win Mom's approval, put on a bright smile and said, "Well, don't worry, Mom. I'll give you all the grandkids you want." It got a big laugh from Linda, and that became the pattern from then on. Every conversation seemed to turn into a comparison. Linda would drop comments like, "My friend Carol just became a grandma, such a blessing," or, "You know, Emma just has that natural motherly glow." Meanwhile, I was apparently too focused on work. Thanksgiving was the worst. We hosted that year, and my mother stood to make a toast. She raised her glass to future babies, claiming it was a joke when the silence hit the table. Jason pulled me aside later and told me it crossed a line. He was right, but I was already used to it. After that, I decided to draw a boundary. I called my mother and asked her, calmly, to stop bringing up children every time we spoke. She immediately turned it around on me, saying I was selfish and ungrateful, that I didn't understand what family meant. Then Emma got engaged. Her fiancé Tom was a polite guy with a stable job and a big extended family. Linda adored him from the first meeting. Suddenly, all her energy went into wedding planning. She'd call me with updates about Emma's dress, Emma's flowers, Emma's menu. It was like she'd found a new favorite daughter overnight. I didn't fight it. Jason and I started skipping most family gatherings, choosing smaller visits with my dad instead. It was easier that way. 2 years later, Emma announced she was pregnant. Mom cried like she'd been handed a miracle. She threw a huge baby shower with matching decorations, a caterer, and more gifts than I'd seen at Emma's actual wedding. I remembered how Mom once criticized me for spending money on myself, but apparently it was different when it came to her blessing. After that, the balance in our family completely shifted. Every phone call from Linda became a story about Emma's cravings, Emma's doctor visits, Emma's nursery. She would soften when talking to me only if it gave her a chance to brag about finally becoming a grandmother. I kept my distance, but even from far away, it was clear something wasn't right. At a quiet dinner one night, Emma admitted she and Tom were already struggling with bills. She brushed it off, saying they'd figure it out once the baby arrived. Mom just smiled and said, "Family always finds a way." That was the moment I realized how much my mother's dream of being a grandmother had blinded her. She didn't see the cracks forming right in front of her. And deep down, I knew those cracks were going to spread further than any of us expected. When my niece Lily was born, it was like my mother had discovered a second youth. She practically moved into Emma's house that first week, carrying grocery bags, cleaning supplies, and enough baby clothes to fill a small store. I remember stopping